Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack. This like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. Once again, it's your host, Scott Lewis. Of course, you know to follow me at Barbchair Scott on all social media platforms. Subscribe to the Patreon. All those links are in the description box, so get into them, man. It is Friday, March 20th, 2026. If I am correct, today is the first day of spring. Did not know that to this morning, but
it's first day of spring. It's my little brother's
right?
23rd birthday, so yeah, we lit.
Happy birthday to your little brother. I remember being 23.
Me too.
400 years ago. So yeah, Dante will be joining us in just a second. Follow Bang and JR Bang on all social media platforms as well. Got a lot to get into today. So let's just get right into it, man. It has been a big day. Well, not big day, but big week in the hip-hop world. You know things are still when you got certain podcasts recycling Drake, Kendrick Lamar topics. It's 2 fucking years ago. Let's move around, people. Like, I don't care about whatever subs they're sending at each other. Drake Iceman album, I don't care. The only Iceman I know is Caleb Williams. Okay, so I don't care. Let's just move this thing along.
Is he gonna be able to trademark that? I mean, George Gervin, he's Iceman.
Who? Caleb?
Yeah, they said that he applied for the trademark, and I'm like, George Gervin?
Well, you know, I don't know if old dudes know they get their trademarks.
Oh, he might be old, but he got business people around.
I don't know. Well,
this ain't 1970. This ain't 1975.
There's been a lot of people calling themselves Iceman, though. That's interesting. But yeah, the greatest rapper of all time, Mr. Sean Carter, is back outside. Now, I told Bane, which he corrected me on, that I thought this was just the anniversary concert at the Roots Picnic. Come to find out that is not the case. He will be doing 2 concerts back-to-back days. I think it's July 10th and July 11th. One album he's been performing is Reasonable Doubt. And the other is the album that changed my life, The Blueprint. The first rap album I ever owned was The Blueprint. So that'll be night 2 at Yankee Stadium. So I just saw Rock Nation said if you have a city card, you part of the pre-release. I'm be real. I'm probably not going to be at this concert as much as I want to be, because concert tickets, you better off selling drugs to try to afford some of these, and especially with all the different things you got to go through. You know, sign up for this, sign up for that, and you know what Jay-Z is not just going to be regular and just go to Ticketmaster, as we see here. If you're a city card member, you get first dibs on the tickets. Now, I've seen Jay, I want to say 5 times. I think I've seen him 5 times. I haven't missed a tour pre-BP3. So I think it's around 5 shows that I've been to. I love it every time. Obviously, I'm a card carrying Hove engine. So I'm very excited about this, even though I know I'm not going to be at those concerts unless one of my New York homies surprised me with a ticket last minute, which happened last time. So it could, but I'm not expecting to be there. I'm thinking about just going to New York that weekend and see if I can finesse something. Maybe a ticket lands in my lap. We'll see what happens. But, Bane, what's your thoughts on Jay being out? So you think it's an album following this, or he just going to be doing
I'll
performances?
just say that a lot of stuff that I've heard still points into the direction that we will get a project. And it also points into a project, it points into the direction that we will get a reasonable doubt blueprint style project. That's why when I saw the two concerts, I was like, oh, this makes sense to everything that I've been hearing. It is something that would mimic what we are used to. It's not gonna be none of this new shit. It's gonna be something. I hate using this term now because I'm even in the chat right now having a conversation about this, but it would be classic to the Jay that we're used to and not none of this new stuff. That is stuff that I've been hearing, but I don't know. I just like the fact that Jay-Z is out. If anybody listens to this podcast and but also listens to summer sessions or listen to some dude, um, I just like rappers being outside. It ain't about dropping a project. It's about being able to rap. Like you got Lionel Richie and some of these old cats, Lionel Richie and other artists who's performing the songs we know. And we're excited to hear the songs we know. If he's gonna give us that Airy Crown Theater style concert and go up in there and start rapping the songs we know, I'm with it. I don't have to hear new Jay-Z stuff. I'll love to hear, Jay Z and see Orlando. See, I don't see Orlando again. I'll whoop Orlando's ass. Six in 1988. You know what I'm
You
saying? But nah,
so you saw
but nah,
Eric B and Rakim.
but nah, man. I rather Jay Z do his old stuff. I'd rather see what he's doing, and I think more rappers should do this, and that just lets you know how impactful that you are. And like, look at 50 Cent. He got the residency in Vegas. You got Jeezy's about to do a residency in Vegas. Rick Ross is about to do Port of Miami 20-year anniversary with an orchestra like Jeezy did. No, I like this. I like this era rap that we in. I don't need y'all to drop no new shit. But if you want to, I just don't have to hear it.
Yeah, where I'm at with it with Hove is that if I never get a new album for the rest of my life, I'm fine with that. But I will also take a new album. What I want and what I hope this leads to is him being selfish and picking himself for the Super Bowl next year. That's what I hope. I have been wanting that for the longest time. For Jay-Z to say, fuck all of y'all, I'm going to be on this stage this year. That's what I want. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But that's what I want. So I'm hoping this leads into that. We haven't had a Jay album. Damn, it's been almost 10 years.
Yeah, 444, whenever that
Yeah,
came out.
444 was 2017.
We ain't getting them.
You don't think we get one?
No, not at all. I'm with Bang. I think it's really one of those things where now we need to start letting our older artists, have these residencies, go on their victory laps, take these tours where they celebrate certain moments in the history of the culture as opposed to just trying to make some new shit. I'm with you though. I think if Jay-Z does do a new album, I want him to do that Nas approach, get with one producer, give me 8 to 10 songs and call it a day. I don't need a 14, 16 song Jay-Z album anymore.
Yeah.
But other than that, no. I think it's time for us to really get into the era of hip hop. Because hip hop being, just over 50 years old, it's really a baby. So like getting into that era where we let our legends live out the rest of their careers off of what they've already created. Like the idea that we need you to get back in the booth. I really don't need Hope to get back in the booth. What more can you really tell me? You richer than me. You done did it all. What we gonna talk about?
Fam, I've done the Tom Joyner Fantastic Voyage for the last 3 years, Jack. I didn't need to hear a new Earth, Wind, and Fire song. Nick Fantasy come on. Ah! We did Tyrese last year, or pause. We had Tyrese last year. I didn't even need to hear a new Tyrese album or a new song. Like Do Sweet Lady, we straight. Shaka Khan came on. I ain't need to hear no new Shaka Khan stuff. Give me the classics. That's where I'm at right now. You can drop some new stuff. I'll listen to it at the crib. But when I spend some money, give me the classics. Leave the new stuff to younger people, fam. Go drop an album, Kendrick. I don't need to. You still got time. Drop some albums.
Yeah, I think Dante, you hit the nail on the head right there about what more can you tell me? Like I've been listening to Jay since 25 years. So how old am I now? I'm 37. My math's off. I was like 12. I think it was the first time I heard Jay-Z. So it's really not much you can tell me. Like you're the greatest rapper of all time. You're a billionaire. You get to see Beyonce naked every day. You own a team. Actually, I don't even know if you own a team. You own everything. You are the godfather of this hip hop game. You are the Triple H. Nothing runs in this industry without you. What else do I need to know? Like about Jay-Z that I don't already know. So I'm with you, Dante. If it's just celebratory, legendary shows, I'm just gonna run through my catalog that is second to none. I'm fine with that as well. But if there's an album coming with this as well, I'm also fine with that. Even though there's nothing new that I feel like he can tell me or that I want to hear. Because even with 444, you cheated on the biggest pop star on the planet. I want to hear how you got your family back. There was something there to draw. So, but I'm just excited to see what's going to happen, man. As I said, this is an 80s baby summer. For all y'all who weren't alive during that time, I don't care if you were 1 or 2 years old like I was. This is our summer. All right, so I'm here for the old head summer. All right, so we'll see where this happens. And I would love to be blessed with a ticket to one of those shows because I do not sell drugs, and I know I'm not going to be able to afford one of those concerts. So we'll see how that goes, man. But let's move on to the sports, which is what you guys watch this show for and to see us talk about. As you all know, I am not happy with the Chicago Bears. As I tweeted a couple days ago, and I said this in a group chat, I've given this team up to God. Whatever happens, happens. I don't have much to say about the draft. I don't have much to say even after the draft. I'm going to let all this play out. But let's be very clear about something. If and when I am right, and we're sitting here into October, early November, and this is not where you thought the team would be, you will hear from me. And I will go back to the 6-7 months prior where I voiced my concerns and people said I was panicking. I hope that day don't come. I would love for everybody who said I was a panicker to say, I told you so. Because as much as I love being right, I prefer for my football team to be good more than me being right. So that's what I'm at with. But I wanted to talk about this. This kind of happened like a week and a half ago, but we didn't do the show last week. Me and Bang did the Patreon show on Monday, so we didn't have time to add this to the rundown. But when Maxx Crosby hit the market again after the Ravens trade, and we're going to get to what he said about the Ravens in a minute. I think it was, I don't know if it was Greeny. Greeny said, I got a feeling that we're going to have to watch for the Bears in this. Are the Bears going to be able to get into this? And Adam Schefter straight up said, no, that's not going to happen. The Bears are broke, word for word. And then everybody started going into this. What does that mean? I'm going to tell you what that means. Does that mean they have no money? No. It's the NFL. You have salary cap, and you have to spend a certain amount of money. I think the saying they're broke goes in. They're not going to pitch extra, or the owners don't have any more money to put into the team because they're still figuring out this damn stadium situation. Okay? I don't want to hear that I'm broke shit when you have an opportunity to get one of these bigger fish. I don't want to hear that when you didn't renegotiate or restructure one contract. There's ways around it. And I don't want to call Adam Schefter, friend of the program, a Ryan Pohl's mouthpiece, even though he is on almost every episode of the all-season 1920 football drives. But I think this message was being sent out as a way to tell fans, I messed up with those signings I had last year, with signing a Grady Jarrett and signing a Dio and all them signings we didn't like. And I have to be smarter with my money this year. And we're gonna have to build this from the ground up. That's what I think that means. And I also think why you see it's taking so long for the stadium to get done. Because they ain't got no money to get that stuff done either. Which is why we're gonna go to what we've always been saying. George McCaskey is very nice. I've met him multiple times. He's a great dude. He should sell the team. I have not gotten off that. Not because I think he's a bad owner or anything, because I really don't think he's a bad owner. But for the financial success of this team, so we ain't got to be hearing stuff like this from the NFL's number 1 or number 2 reporter, whatever way you have Adam Schefter ranked. That's what I think right here. This Bang, what is your opinion? Are the Bears broke boys?
I think two things could be right at the same time. The Bears don't have the cap and the fiscal they're not good in the fiscal area to make a decision like this. But I also believe that the Bears feel like they don't have to go out and get a Maxx Crosby. I think us as fans sit here and feel like we have to just go get something just because it's there. But you don't. And it is something like now I feel like it's something to believing that you can develop and still get what you need without going out and having to break the bank in order to get it. Because the team, we could go get Maxx Crosby today, and I wouldn't mind it. But even if we get him, we're still not a player away or no players like we don't get Maxx Crosby and now we feel like we have all the pieces and the tools that we need to win the title. Even in the Patreon, you said we still need to get better at defensive back. We got to replace people there. We need to get better at the linebacker position. We might not have all that there. We still need to get better at the wide receiver position because we need some improvements there. So we get Maxx Crosby. Ooh, we end up like the Packers. Whereas they got Micah Parsons and they still pieces away from competing for a championship, let alone competing for the division. So it's something to that. It's something, and I don't think it's a
I
slow
have
walk.
pushback for that, but I'll let you
I
finish.
mean,
I'll let
push
you
back. I mean, push
and
back. I mean,
Dante
I'm
go.
just push back. It's just as simple as we're still not that away. So we talking about giving away assets, and we still need some pieces. Then we get Maxx Crosby, and then as you said on Patreon, we 4-4. Then it's gonna be a group of fans that's going. They're not gonna be like at least we went after a big fish. No, they're gonna be complaining because we got a big fish, and we still 4-4. So you're not gonna win one way, you're not gonna win another way. So you do it in a way that you feel like is best. I don't think they're fiscally able to do those things, but at the same time, you trust the development of your players, the development of your team, of your players, and the Bears have done a great job of that in 1 year to say, hey, I think we got it. And again, we don't even know who's gonna drop. We don't even know who's gonna be there in the draft. And there's still other people. There's still other vets available that will probably be taken care of after the draft or during training camp, where there's going to be very helpful for your team.
Dante, I want your opinion, number one, on what you thought about their off-season strategy. And then, do you think they're broke? Then I will give my rebuttal. You on mute, dog.
Yeah, that's fine,
As
Jack.
far as the off-season strategy, I didn't mind it too much. I wanted them to be more aggressive on the defensive line, but in terms of getting faster on defense, is exactly what we did. Kobe Bryant is I think, an upgrade over Jaquan, not Kevin, but I think that's a situation where they do plan on drafting the safety, and they've talked about this class. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm going to deep dive into the safeties outside of Cade Cunningham, but they've said this is a good draft class for that. The same with Deion Bush. He had a career year last year. This is another guy. You add more speed to this defense, a defense that we all knew was slow the defense, that despite the fact that they led the league in turnovers, we saw how that team was playing. It was nonstop. It was consistent. There was like, all right, we need help. And so I'm not too mad about that. I wanted to see them go get Max, but again, I think it's a situation now where because they have hit on these offensive draft picks, whether it be Ozzy or Colston or Luther, they're feeling more confident to the point where they can say, we can get some guys that are going to be on rookie deals to fill these spots and coach them up, especially when, a lot like the St. Louis Rams. You have your coach, you have your quarterback. There's a lot more stability in the building. So, and to, in the exact opposite, I wanted them to be like the Rams in the sense where, okay, I have my coach, I have my quarterback. Let's make some splashy moves in order to get the best talent in the building. I think as far as them being cash poor, we've known that for years. That's nothing. I think it's definitely a situation where, knowing that when you do have to leave State of Caleb, that money needs to be in escrow, and all of that guaranteed money needs to be there. So you're talking about north of $200 million you're going to have to pay him if he stays on the same path. We may be looking at a situation where we are, as our homie Mikey said, looking like the Cincinnati Bengals, where our ownership just simply can't afford to do things the way other splashy owners do it. So I think it's something that very well needs to be talked about. But I also think it's a situation where they trust Poles, they trust Ben Johnson, and it's like, we could make the splashy move, but let's see what you can do with all of these assets. Because, we still, have a pretty good amount of draft picks and a little bit of flexibility. So it's still early, and I think they're just trusting that Ryan Poles is going to do what needs to be done.
I have no problem with them trusting the guy who they hired. I don't have to trust them, and I don't. That's what I meant with. And I don't think it has to be an either or thing with the free agency or, if we get Maxx Crosby, we're not a player away. No, you're not a player away. But I think you're still in a better position with the Maxx Crosby, who isn't 35, by the way. I think a lot of people, not you, Bang, but like a lot of people acting like this dude is 35, 36 years old. Like, he can still play. And it don't even have to be a Maxx Crosby. It could have been a Trey Hendrickson. Shit, I'd have took Bradley Chubb. Just at least have a veteran defensive end or a defensive tackle on this defensive line, and then add that with the younger talent. The reason why I don't like the draft-only model is because you're expecting a lot from rookies. And every now and then you might have a rookie just comes in, gives you 10 sacks. But usually those are the top 10 pick type of rookies who usually do that type of stuff. You have pick number 25. Yes, this is a deep edge, D-tackle type of draft. But like I said again, you drafted pick 25. I think a good amount of them are going to be gone before you get to the Bears. And I would trust Ryan Poles if I at least had examples on the defensive side of the ball that he's good at drafting and analyzing and finding good talent. I don't believe he can. He's only found one, and that dude can't stay on the field. So that's what my concern is. I don't want to hear the I'm broke shit after an offseason like this, no matter if it's true or not, because I just think that's the wrong message to sell. And like I said, everybody can fan how they want to fan. Some people like, I'm just going to wait and see. That's fine. I'm not doing that because I said this like in December. I said, if you're going to do this, you need to take advantage of this window, and everybody should enjoy it because next year there's expectations. I don't want to hear we're still not really there yet. The window is just now opening. It's the NFL, bro. You can't count on windows just staying consistently open. As I've always said, I think not the Bengals, but the Bills and the Ravens windows are closed. They own new coaches now. That's a different era. We don't know how that's going to pan out. So I feel that there was a way that you could have got a veteran defensive lineman and then add on with the picks. That's the issue I got. You're expecting all these rookies to come in, make impacts. You're expecting the dudes who didn't really have a good year last year to bounce back this year. You're expecting the injuries we had last year to not be a factor this year. I've heard people say, oh, we've got Terrell Smith. When have you ever seen him past week 3? Oh, we got Zy Franklin. I've been covering this team for 5 seasons. I ain't never seen this man. He ain't even been at the actual facility. So how you gonna count on somebody we ain't seen? And I'm not sitting up here saying they should have kept Jaquan Brisker. I know a lot of idiots on the internet think I was mad about them letting Jaquan Brisker walk, which is not the case. I'm just saying, I think the smarter move would have been to take that little 1 year deal that he or Jonathan Owens were being offered from other teams and then add a rookie with that. Let him have a camp battle. I'm not saying give him a max contract. I don't care that you let Kevin Byard walk. Kobe Bryant is a way better upgrade up there. Now you're expecting Kyler Gordon to be healthy. You're expecting Jalen Johnson to be healthy. And that's why I go into my next point about regression candidates. I think the Bears are numero uno or number two. I think Jacksonville is going to regress, but they're numero uno right now in my head. And that's where I have the issue with we're not one player away. Yeah, but if you add free agency with the draft and now expecting the year two of Caleb in this system leap, that to me is the best plan of attack. And I just don't think that that's what's being done here.
They were going to be a regression candidate with or without a big trade. That was going to happen regardless. So I ain't tripping on that. They are a regression candidate with or without Maxx Crosby, with or without Myles Garrett, with or without Bradley Chubb, with or without whoever. So they were always going to be that because of the fact that you also have people who believe that the Detroit Lions are not going anywhere. And they had an off year, but they still had the amount of wins. There's some people that believe that Kyler Gordon is an upgrade from J.J. McCarthy. And there's even a number of people who are wondering what's going to happen with J.J. McCarthy when you look at that quarterback room. And then you have the Green Bay Packers. That ain't going nowhere. So we were going to be a regression candidate as much as possible. I know who ain't worried about being a regression candidate is the people over there at Hallis Hall. And they're still free agent defensive linemen that are out there that even fits this defense more than some of the people that we talked about because they played in that. So I don't think it's over with. This is why I don't trip until training camp because we don't know how this roster is going to be filled out. Even when you look at the draft, TJ Parker is somebody that I've earmarked, and if this was the year beforehand, he would have been a top 10 candidate. Clemson as a whole had a bad year, and that, along with some nagging injuries, put his draft status down to a late first round pick. But he's also somebody who had a decent, I guess you could say he had a decent combine. I ain't worried about that. I'm really more worried about his pro day and stuff like that. And he's definitely a candidate. We got two safeties that might fall. And again, we don't know what's going to happen in the draft. So, while I am with you to a point, again, I also look at this situation as saying that they would have been a regression candidate with or without Maxx Crosby because the expectations for the Bears were so high. So people are going to wonder if they're going to fall. They're same thing as the Washington Commanders. And what happened with them? It was more injuries than it was anything else. That's what we have to worry about and watch out for too.
Yeah, they're always primed to be a regression candidate, but I do think with the Crosby or some vets, you're more prepared for that than let's just throw rookies in there.
Yeah,
Let's
we everybody is way more prepared when they get into the season, but when that season happens and Mark start getting injured, you can have all of those people and you still end up
Yeah, but
regressing
what I'm saying
because
that's still
everybody's
a
hurt.
better
No, I know. I
preparation than
understand
right now.
exactly what you're saying. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is simply while you're right, you could get that player and that player gets hurt, and then we're going to be having the same conversation. Is basically what I'm saying. We're going to regress. So we're going to be regression candidates no matter what, because people are going to be looking for the Bears to fail no matter who they are. And God forbid we get Maxx Crosby, and next thing you know, he has a nagging knee injury, and now he's not playing for a couple of games because training camp, he still wasn't ready for training camp, and now he's going to be out for the first 2 to 3 games in the season, and then we end up 1-2, and we're going to be on this show right here. Nah.
Well, see, I wouldn't, but this is why. This is why I'm all about process more than result. If that happened, I could still live. We took a shot. I just can't live with this one. That's just like I said. I'm not saying we gonna finish third or we gonna be 9 wins, 8 wins. I'm not doing all that in March. I'm just saying that the way it's going right now is what I figured was gonna happen, and I think I'm angry about it because I knew the Bears were gonna do some shit like this, which is why. If you remember from last year, I didn't really believe they were going to do anything until they beat the Eagles. And I kept saying, if you're going to have this type of success, you have to build on it. And if Ryan Poles had the draft history of, let's say, Howie Roseman or whoever you want to name, whatever general manager, I would feel a lot more confident. Like even last year with as great of a draft that Ryan Poles had, and it was great. He rebuilt the offense, but he was just cleaning up his own mess. Like this is his 5th year. This is not like his first year at the head of the company, head of the team or whatever. So that's just what irritates me. I would love to be wrong.
What did you say? What did you say to us at the beginning of the season? I mean, at the end of the season, if you believe in this coach and you believe in his plan, then you should be okay.
I believe in the coach and the plan on offense. I do not. I've never trusted this general manager.
Hey, I can see this coach. I could tell this coach is taking more of a stand on the players that his defensive coordinator wants and needs. Because if that was the case, I think Kevin Byard would have been back. And Jaquan Briscoe.
I'm not tripping on Byard because you got.
No,
Kobe
I'm just
Bryant.
saying that I know you're not tripping. I'm saying that if it were up to the general manager, I think those 2 players will still be with the Bears. I think what we see is the head coach basically telling the GM, these marks was terrible. I'm going to make sure I talk to Dennis Allen and get the people he wants. And that might not be the right thing. Because I look at somebody like Cameron Jordan, and I wonder why he didn't go back to the Saints. I look at some of these players that they got, and the reason why they got like a Kobe Bryant, I could tell why they went and got him. But I also don't believe that's a Ryan Poles move. It's basically what I'm saying. I think the man who got the final decisions up in that room now is Ben Johnson. I think everything that we see right now, it looks like Ryan Poles, but it has been Johnson making those moves.
Dante, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Bears being regression candidates, I think based on how they won the games last year, they were always going to be regression candidates. Like, anytime you have a team that has that many, I was about to say one-run victories on their baseball mode, one-score victories and, close calls and things like that, you're always going to be a candidate for regression. So I get your point, Scott, when you say you wanted to see them make those moves to, bolster your chances and give yourself an opportunity to really come back this season and say, yes, we building off of last year. So I think, with that being said, it's always something we could do. I think it's always, going to be a complaint until we get the complete roster that we've been waiting for. But like Zane said, I see why you made the moves you made, but I also see why you didn't take that full swing. So it's a situation with me where the regression potential is always going to be there. So I think they're more so doing what we don't want to see and being cautious and saying we have Caleb, we trust their process and we trust the people they want to have. Because, Dale could very well have a bounce back season. Austin Booker could continue to grow. We could very well see all those things. But it's much like, to your point, Scott, we spent, 4 or 5 seasons now with Ryan Poles talking about what ifs. And just because certain things are starting to come to fruition doesn't mean you continue to lean on the what if. If anything, you lean in and pay people before you got to pay Caleb. But that's clearly not the case here. So, I think it's more so maybe pumping the brakes on us and letting us realize, hey, we still are despite the fact we're in, third largest media market. This is a mom and pop shop.
Yeah, I get that. I just don't like it.
And let me be clear. This is not me defending Ryan Poles. I'm not. This is me more or less saying that he ain't the number one football guy in that organization no more. I think Ben Johnson is the number one football guy in this organization. I believe that he is putting more of an emphasis on what Dennis Allen needs as the defensive coordinator. Because if we look at the way that Dennis Allen plays defense, Kevin Byard, as much as a great season that Kevin Byard had, that's not his defense. That's not Jaquan Brisker's defense. That's why when Dennis Allen got here, he was talking about people like Kyler Gordon. That's a player that he wants in his defense. I think we're going to start seeing people that Dennis Allen wants, and that's going to be through Ben Johnson, not through Ryan Poles. I think Ryan Poles is basically saying, "Here's what we got, and this is what we have to deal with." And Ben is saying, "Dennis wants this. Dennis wants this. Dennis wants this. We could go get this in the draft. There's going to be some capable safeties in the first 60 picks in this draft. There's going to be some capable defensive ends in this draft. There's going to be this, this, this. I can rock with this." I think that is more of what's going on rather than Ben saying, "All right, Ryan, go load me back up." Because I don't think that happened. I don't think that was happening during the draft. And I think we can count on some of those mistakes that was made last year as mistakes made by Ryan and Ben.
Point. So we'll see how that. This won't be the first. It won't be the last time we'll talk about this. We'll definitely be talking about this when the draft rolls around. But I want to talk about Maxx Crosby. He has a podcast, obviously, like every athlete on planet Earth does right now, and he talked about in great detail what happened with the Ravens trade. So unless you've been living under a rock, Maxx Crosby got traded to the Raiders. Everything was good for a couple days, and then the Ravens, the night before the league year officially opened, decided, "Hey, we saw something we didn't like in those physicals, so we're not going to complete this trade." And then the very next morning, they completed the signing of Trey Hendrickson. I personally do not believe it was a medical issue. I personally believe they got cold feet and they didn't want to give up 2 first rounders when they can get a guy whose production is around the same in Trey Hendrickson for a lower price than what it would have cost to get Maxx. So Maxx said, now I don't have the full thing written down because I was watching it on his Instagram. So I'll just point out some key things. So when he was flying to Baltimore to take his physical, since there was no plane straight to Baltimore from Vegas or wherever he was coming from, he had to fly to DC and then drive 2 hours to Baltimore, which was mistake number one. He said that upset him, but he gets to the facility, he's meeting everybody, and he just felt like it was weird, like the general manager wouldn't look him in the eye. They weren't really connecting, and even to speak to the general manager took him a while to be able to actually get in contact with him. And when he found out about the actual results, he was panicked because it's like, I done spoke to all these different doctors, I done this, that, and the third, and there hasn't been any problem. And now you're telling me there's this problem. So long story short, he was very upset about it. And to me, this doesn't reflect well on the Ravens at all. If it was a real medical scare, I get it. This just sounds like they got cold feet and it's real unprofessional how they went around the whole thing. Like, how do you have your superstar, edge talent that you traded for and you making him fly commercial, number one, and number two, take a fucking car ride from DC to Baltimore? That's ridiculous to me. And if I'm a free agent or somebody else who might be traded to Baltimore, I'm looking at that. Like, that's not how a top tier organization works. So, Ben, what's your thoughts on this?
When I heard him say that he flew in to DC and drove to Baltimore, I was like, yeah, they ain't like you. They ain't like you at all, Jack. To have you fly commercial to Reagan, I think Reagan. He didn't say specifically which airport. So I'm just gonna say it's Reagan.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a wild guess that it was Reagan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm taking a
If
wild
they
guess.
if they sent them to Dulles, I would have turned around. I
Oh,
would have
that's what I
said,
was about to go.
"We're gonna go back home."
Bruh,
Say,
if
I'm gonna go back home.
anybody's ever been to Dulles, one of the worst airports I've ever been to in my
boy,
life.
if they sent him to Reagan, they was bogus because he is a notable figure. As soon as he walk out, oh man, it's Maxx Crosby. But man, if they sent him to Dallas, they ain't want that trade to happen. They ain't want that trade to happen at all. The fact that there was no private jet, the fact that there was nobody to go pick him up, he had to drive down on his own. His wife was with him. She was wait. Look, I don't try to dump on no organizations. But thank you for the Baltimore Ravens for probably Steve Bisciotti having way more money than the McCaskies, but making us look like we not the cheap ones here. Cause that's one what they did. Two, Eric DaCosta getting on the press conference and talking about, oh man, I really wanted to try to have them both and all of that stuff. No, you didn't, Jack. You just trying to save face. This makes the Ravens organization look terrible, look bad. And if I am any player on there and I'm saying this is why we didn't get Maxx Crosby, even though we got Trey Hendrickson, this is why we didn't get Maxx Crosby. That's why I want to know, did Roquan Smith get this same treatment? Because he's the last trade, big trade, major trade that happened of an all pro, pro bowler, top 2 or 3 in his position player that they got. I want to know what happened with Roquan Smith. That they sent him to Dullies, and then he was like, "Yo, I'll just go ahead and drive over there." He didn't talk to Eric DaCosta and nobody for a minute, and then they finally came down and was like, "Yo, what's good, homie? Like y'all straight? Y'all good? Purple and black, Raiders for life. Let me go call Ray Lewis." I want to know if that happened. If that happened, then that's pretty much what this team does. But if that is not, it just proves that they reneged on the trade. They're not used to doing this. They're not used to going hard as they normally do, and they got cold feet. It would be difficult to give up 2 first rounders and stuff when you have, as I said on the Patreon, you also have a number of holes on your defense.
And also, this would have been the first time in franchise history that they given up 2 first rounders. So, this would piss me off about Dallas. This is when I did the Commander Bears
Wait a minute,
game.
you
I think it
flew
was
into
3 years.
Dallas?
No. Let me tell you the story.
Oh
So
boy.
I flew into Reagan because Pappy was doing the game with me because my brother couldn't come last minute. So I got to Reagan, and me and Pav just happened to be landing at the same time, which is very funny because we lived in the same city. But whatever. I don't, I don't know why we just ain't get on one flight, but whatever. So we both landed around the same time, and he had a rental car. But then, like after the trip was over, I'm checking my flight information, and the shit says Dulles. So I text my brother. I was like, "Why you ain't just fly me out of Reagan?" I'm like, "Dulles is like in Virginia." He was like, "Ain't that like cross street?" I'm like, "Not this, bro." It took me 2 hours to get from DC to
Yes.
Dulles Airport, and then when I get there, once you get to departures or whatever, you got to take like an elevator just to get to the other side of the elevator where the actual airplanes are at. So yeah, if a player is getting picked up by a team from Dulles, they do not like you. So I really want to know what airport it was. But Dante, how bad does this make the Ravens look?
Oh, it looks really bad. It looks hella unprofessional, especially being anytime you have billion-dollar organizations that cheap up on stuff like this when it comes to free agents. It's like, nah, bro, what are you doing? Like, it's really that simple. So for them, and I think it's more so when you look at the people they lost in free agency, it's been alluded to already. They was like, nah, we getting greedy. Had they not lost, the tight end and whoever else they lost, the center, and I think they would have been more likely to say, all right, let's go for a big splash. Because, you got Lamar Jackson, and you already know what it is. It's time to win with him. So you want to give him as much help as you can. But I think this is one of those situations where after they made the deal, then the way the rest of the tea leaves fell, it was like, you know what? That's a little too much. Let's pull back. So it's a bad look, but I mean, if Lamar Jackson can win with him, then it don't matter.
That's true. Let's move on to some NFC North news that we didn't get a chance to talk about. The Minnesota Vikings have a new quarterback, and that quarterback is man himself, Mr. Kyler Murray.
I laugh every time you call Buddy ass man, Jack.
Hey, dude, when he run like a little badass kid named Man. That's how he run. But looks like the J.J. McCarthy experience is ending a lot quicker than people expected. Everybody except for Bang. Bang said this was going to end pretty quick. Nazareth. But didn't think they would be out of him this quick. Now, so far, the Vikings and a lot of Vikings reporters say it's going to be an open competition. Look, man, I got eyes, bro. He's not starting over Kyler Murray. And I'm not even that big of a Kyler Murray fan. And I remember somebody tweeted me, and I do this sometimes. Somebody tweeted me, man, we better hope Minnesota doesn't get Kyler Murray. And I tweeted something like, man, who the fuck cares if we get Kyler Murray? Then I started thinking about it. And I was like, this team won 9 games with J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz. And you got the QB whisperer and Kevin O'Connell. They got a pretty good defense. They got the greatest receiver in the game. They've got pretty good complementary receivers. They got a good running game. And then a light bulb went off. This isn't good. In the words of Stephen A. Smith, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem.
This is not good. This is not good.
I think this is an excellent move for the Vikings. I'm not saying that Kyler is some great quarterback, but I think even I could throw to Justin Jefferson. You know, and I think what you saw with Kevin O'Connell, the fact he was even able to get something out of J.J. McCarthy, the way he made Sam Darnold become a Super Bowl champion and to get the contract that he got. Who was the dude before him the year before? He looked like Charlie Villanueva. He was there.
Stidman?
No, not Stidman.
Josh Dobbs, fam.
Josh Dobbs. He had Dobbs looking good for like half the season. So what do you think he can do with Kyler Murray? I think the only question mark here is Kyler Murray going to put in the work because this, he has a stigma of being lazy or whatever. But that might just be the Arizona Cardinals are a shit franchise. That's probably what it is. I'm concerned.
Yeah, as long as the new Call of Duty don't drop, I think we're in trouble, Jim.
Yeah.
I think this is a situation. Kyler Murray can hoop. Let's not get this twisted. Like, I understand he's been hurt and things like that, underachieved, but when you put him around the right people, bro, I think this could be a problem. I mean, I still got my money on Caleb, but once again, this division is proven to be one of the tougher divisions in the league. You're gonna have to, bring it every Sunday, and this is why we've been asking for moves to be made. Because I think Scott tweeted the nail on the head. Kevin McConnell knows what to do with quarterbacks, and this team won 9 games last year with J.J. McCarthy and the center. So I mean, I don't think this is good at all. I think this is great for the Vikings, but for the Bears, it's just no competition.
And I think the fact that we're division champions overshadows the fact that this team went 2-4 in the division. Like, they did not play well. They split. And the second game they won came down to a special teams mismatch for us to even get in position to win the game off a field goal. You split with J.J. McCarthy, okay? You got swept by the Detroit Lions in their worst year since becoming really good. We took care of them bums in Green Bay, whatever. But now look at it where every team in the division has a decent quarterback. Now, that doesn't mean that I feel they're going to finish ahead of us and things like that. But there's no way that you can just laugh this move off like I so ignorantly did before the move actually happened and I actually sat and thought about it. I was like, this is not good here. So, and I know, Orlando put in the chat that Kyle had weapons in Arizona and he was still mid. I'm gonna raise you something different here. He had, I wouldn't say weapons. He had decent options. He has Justin Jefferson, okay? He has T.J. Hawkinson, okay? He's going to have a solid run game. and he's going to have a coach who does. If somebody told me I couldn't have Ben Johnson as my head coach and I couldn't have Sean McVay, who's the guy I would want? It's Kevin O'Connell. And there's no disrespect to Kendall Roy over there in San Francisco, but he abandons the run way too much for my liking. It would be Kevin O'Connell. And I believe for a team, as many issues they had last year, still won 9 games. Kyler can't get you another win or two? I think he can. And I think he's going to be motivated to be in a situation where he can actually win and a coach that actually believes him, because Kevin O'Connell went out his way to get this deal done. That's why it's slightly a concern for me. Bane, what you think?
Boy, I agree with you. Man in Arizona. Man with Justin Jefferson. Lord Jesus. His scrambling ability mixed with the players and not just him. Like they're except for running back, their skill positions are on point. See, Kyler had James Conner playing running back. No diss to him, but and Marvin Harrison ain't really shown the skills that his dad got. He just be moping, it feels like. Maybe he need to get out of that, but he just feels like a mope to me. So when you say all of that, and then you look at who this Minnesota Vikings team has, and not only that, the coaching. Like pairing him with Kevin O'Connell, I saw Dan Orlovsky, and I'm not disrespecting Dan Orlovsky's knowledge, but I've heard him say repeatedly that Kyler Kyler Murray will have to adjust to what Kevin O'Connell do. The best head coaches adjust to what their players bring. And you have that skill set with that mind, oh, you damn right I'm nervous. I am nervous about the Minnesota Vikings. And when you add, what Brian Flores has going on that defensive side of the ball, and they are getting younger there too. Like they're replacing people like Harrison Smith and others. So, but I trust that defensive mind over there. Man, I am a little bit nervous about the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that video that dude. He said, "Yeah, I'm a little concerned, but I packed that thing too."
I packed that thing too. No,
you know what I'm saying. But none of these division games are gonna be easy, and I think Kyler Murray, if healthy, and if he buys into what Kevin O'Connell is selling, and only idiot wouldn't buy into, I think he's gonna be great, man. I feel, we all have that one division op player who you're a massive fan of. That's Justin Jefferson for me.
Yep.
He's going to eat. I mean, he was eating already. But my man Jets looked like he was losing life last year. Like he was depressed walking off that field multiple times. I think this is going to help him, man. We got 3 topics. We're going to kind of speed through a little bit within the next 10 minutes. Dante, man, let us know what's going on with this White Sox Stadium news, man. Chairman-to-be, chairman-elect, Justin Ishbia. He bought that 78, or was about to buy that 78 land over there. What's going on with that?
No, he's not buying the 78. He's buying the Amtrak lot across the street from the 78.
Okay.
So, basically it's a situation where, as we all know, that window opens for him to take over the team in 2029. The groundwork is being laid, and this is another aspect of that. He has a venture capital firm in Chicago. He's been based in Chicago. He's spending a lot more time in the city. And like a lot like that article that came out, let's say about 4 or 5 months ago, when he started to, plant seeds about his plans for the White Sox. One thing he has mentioned multiple times is the brand new stadium. Now with the 78 and the Chicago Fire taking over that space, a lot of people are expecting the Sox to either stay put or they have to find a new location. This is actually, in my opinion, better because, one, Amtrak has already agreed and announced that they're moving their rail yard to essentially right where the parking lots are next to the White Sox Stadium on 35th on the low end. And so you're going to have space there for them to put a ballpark where, like we all asked for in the original, right field would be facing right field. The outside of right field, rather, would be the Chicago River, and you have a skyline view in the stadium. Still years away, still a lot of infrastructure ideas, but I love it because now you have the opportunity to create a stadium district in downtown Chicago and South Loop, where you have Chicago Fire on one side of the river, the White Sox on another side of the river, public transportation to get to the games, and just adding to what they're already trying to build there. Because one thing we already know, we all love the South Side, but I mean the neighborhood around Comiskey right now as currently sits,
I don't love it that much.
there's no opportunity. Yeah, there's no opportunity for them to do what modern ball clubs are doing and having a stadium district where you have places for your fans to go after the game. You have hotels for people who come into town for games, things like that. Just
Yeah.
making it a full destination. And I think Ishbia, he sees the writing on the wall, and it'll be South Loop, so I guess they still South Side. But I mean, I wouldn't be shocked that when he gets full control of the team, you see them start putting shovels in the ground because the lease at Comiskey is up in 2029.
Did not know that. That's perfect timing. This is what I'll say about this. Me and Dante did a video probably like a month and a half ago. We were talking about which rebuild do you have more faith in. I'm changing my answer. I'm going to White Sox.
Hey.
I'm changing my answer. I at least think, now whether it works or not, remains to be seen. I'm still not that high on it working. I would believe the White Sox plan works when they actually spend money on a free agent and develop multiple prospects, because they didn't do that in the last rebuild. And then the dude whose job was to develop them, they decided to hire as general manager. But I will give them this. They have a plan.
Yeah. And
Bulls just throwing shit at the wall.
And one thing I will say, we knock his brother a lot, but look at what Matt Ishbia done with the Suns in terms of he's taking big swings at free agents. They have some of the most fan-friendly pricing in the NBA.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He ripped up the TV deal and got a local TV deal and passed out antennas to the fans so they could watch every Phoenix Suns game for free. So you're talking about a family that they love sports. And I mean, Ishbia, he just built a compound worth $80 million. That's bigger than any contract we've ever given out. So I'm not really concerned with him spending money once he finally gets his hand on the team. It's just a matter of, one, how bad the lockout is going to be, and two, like, when does Jerry just give him the team? Like, I would love Jerry to just, hey, man, you know what? You got it, bro. Especially if
we know Jerry Reinsdorf.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pry it out of his gold.
Yeah, but the city,
hands.
if they pass, he just started the construction over there on the west side. He's trying to get
that Black Hawk Bulls project.
Yeah, he's trying to get a $54 million infrastructure tax break over the next 16 years. If he gets that break, and then you get the HBA money coming in, maybe we can get him say, "Hey, man, just focus on the Bulls. You got $1 billion project over there. Let us take this off your hands." I would love that as a White Sox fan, but I mean, only time will tell.
Now the only other thing that I'll add to that is, Matt Abisha, he called hell with the Phoenix Suns last year. He called hell. Stephen A. Smith called him the worst owner in sports. He switched his thinking, and now they've been competitive. So it's like, hey, I like they thinking and everything. And hey, man, I could probably collect Social Security now, so I ain't even gonna be mad at that one. But yeah, I like what I like.
For our audio fans, the chat says Bang will be collecting Social Security when this is completed. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say I got more faith in this happening before the Bears saving.
Hey, that's actually where we're gonna go. Yeah. That's actually why we're gonna go. Like, I'm looking at this from not just a money perspective, but seeing what the brothers did with the Suns last year and catching hell for what they did, and then switching their thinking, firing their coach, getting a new coach up in there, removing Kevin Durant from the situation. They actually been a competitive team. When I look at that, the money that they have, man, if I am a Bears fan, I'm jealous. Because it's like, them brothers ain't broke. They went and they're buying their own piece. They're buying into the places they want to. And it's going to look good not only for the White Sox, but for the city. Because you're going to look across, you're going to see the fire right there. You're going to see you right there. And like Dante said, the South Loop, what they wanted the South Loop to be, they didn't expect it to be this. Have this potential. They wanted the South Loop to be like the West Loop. Well, it's going to be like the West Loop on steroids when you have the Fire and the White Sox there.
And the Fire's already put shovels into the ground.
Right. And the last thing that I will add to this, as a lifelong kind of lifelong White Sox fan since 92. Um, if you have an ownership like him and you have a prime spot for a stadium like it will be there, and when you look around the stadium and what you see, I would not be surprised
Dante, do we know?
if the tide turns and the White Sox become just as popular, if not more, by the time I am collecting Social Security.
Look, man, the White Sox won the World Series on my 17th birthday. There will never be a point in life where they're more popular. I'm sorry. I just don't see it.
It would take the act of God. It would take
It
us
really would.
It would take us getting a Shohei type of guy. And I will say,
would.
with Mooney coming in, like I said, because I've been down here in Atlanta when Shohei's come to town, the other Japanese players have come to town. Cubs fan can attest with Seiya and all of those Shada and all those guys. We're gonna get more fans this year. Like, you can bank on that. That's gonna happen. And putting the team downtown, where you're gonna have more tourists, you're gonna have more foot traffic. It's gonna have
think
potential
they'll
to be a
sell
much better
more
ticket.
games,
Yeah.
more legitimate fans. I can't see it.
I would not be surprised, because if you look at what the Cubs are doing and having a ownership with money but being cheap, and you look at how the White Sox are trying to structure themselves in the area they're trying to go after, I ain't saying it's going to be in Chicago, but I am telling you, I would not be surprised if by the time we're old, the time is turned.
We'll see. Dante, quick.
The 78 gonna be rocking, bro.
Man.
And people don't know this. Scott, you probably heard the rumors or whatever, but the Chicago Fire are looking at Lewandowski and Neymar. So, like, they're gonna they're gonna put asses in the seats when they get to the stadium. Everybody's
let's be very clear. They get one of them, I'm finna be there every week.
Yeah, bro. You can't look at what David Beckham did in Miami with Messi and not try to get one of these superstars to come to your city, bro, because you're gonna sell tickets. The Miami FC just built a new stadium, and their stadium is fire. Like, you're gonna get money. Like, the MLS is on the come up, bro. So
I really think the MLS is about 5 years away from being respected. Obviously, it's not going to be respected as any of the 5 big UEFA leagues.
Yeah.
But it's going to be up there. And the way people been talking about Neymar's name this week, he might be like, all right, I need to get on TV. Y'all talking crazy.
Yeah, y'all almost forgot who I am. Like, Neymar cold. He take his sister's birthday off every year. But, I mean, he's a good guy. Neymar's my kind of guy.
Oh, man. Dante, quick question. Over or under 80 wins for the White Sox this year?
I'm gonna go under, but I'm at that 72, 75 range. I think they're gonna be a really fun team. If the pitching shows up, I think we could flirt with 80 wins this year. I really do believe that.
All right. 2 quick more things. Who said? I forgot who said. But anyway, the World Baseball Classic final was this past week. Venezuela won. Shout out to them. The whole tournament in general was cracking. I just love the energy. It's like a playoffs before the season starts. And I think it was it Aaron Judge who said this is bigger than the World Series?
Yeah.
And then Derek Jeter said only people who have never won the World Series say this bigger than the World Series. Dante, what's your opinion on the dialogue about the World Baseball Classic? And do you think it is bigger or on the same level with the World Series?
Jeter was tripping. Like, a lot of the old heads, it's like, just go sit down somewhere, bro. Like, we get it. You're the captain. You have 5 World Series. We understand. We respect you. Your status in this game is cemented, bro. Let the kids have fun. Like, it's really that simple. Like, Kike Hernandez and played in damn near 5 World Series and told you how great it was. Like, it's something about representing your country. Like, even us as Americans, everything we go through as Black people, bro. You see it firsthand when it's the Olympics, it's the Winter Olympics, World Baseball. Like, I got a few pieces of the Team USA merch just because that's what we do. It's like, it's fun rooting for your country. These games are exciting. A lot of the guys get to, play, relax a little bit. You saw Logan Webb. He said, we may handle business different, but the idea that we don't care is bullshit. And I respect that. Like,
I was trying to find a USA World Cup kid.
Exactly, bro. Like that's just what we do. Like those Stars and Stripes kids are crazy, by the way. But it's one of
Y'all
those
better than me
things.
at this.
Like I mean, like I said, I just do. I know. Don't get me wrong. Like my older brother's a Marine. I got military family, so it's like it's one of those things where I do get a bit patriotic at times. Like me and Scott joke about it.
I get patriotic on
Flyovers?
2 or 10.
Them flyovers,
It's a
boys.
sport. Oh, and fly out. Bro, let me get started on that.
Waste of my
Doing
tax dollars.
sports, and when Europeans try to talk to me about what's going on here, okay, I couldn't care less who the king of England is.
When I was in London and they started calling me a Yankee, I said, "Now hold on now. Let's
me and Pappy told this one girl, we was like, y'all care about who our president is. We don't care who the king is. Okay, look, what phone you use? iPhone, America. What music you listen to? Hip hop, America. Look how you dressing,
right.
America. So I get real red, white, and blue during them times.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you the prime minister since Tony Blair.
Bro, at the Rams-Bears playoff game, and they had that jet fly over Soldier Field, I felt super patriotic. Outside of that, no.
Hey, man, look, all Derek Jeter told me is, hey, man, baseball ain't America's pastime as y'all think it is. We don't care about this ish. That's when he said that. That's all I thought about it. That's all I thought about. Oh, we don't care about this little game right here going up against y'all the way that everybody else care about it. Look, Cal Raleigh showed me that when he didn't even shake his homie's hand. Like, I think he didn't shake his hand.
Which I absolutely love.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think he shook it. I don't think he didn't shook it because of competition. I think he had a game he don't really necessarily care about. Fam,
I thought it was competition.
No, I don't think that was because of I personally don't think it was competition. It's like, man, I'm here, man. I'll shake your hand.
I need to be relaxed.
Spring training, fam. Like, that's all that was to me, because as somebody who has fallen out of love with baseball, I even said to y'all in the chat, like, yo, this what they be doing with this? If the presentation of Major League Baseball was 1/4 of what I saw with the WBC, the ratings would be up, people will be going to the games. And I know y'all say like the Padres be like that. If it was like that for every other joint, man, we wouldn't be having a
man. You would love a Padres game, bro.
Yeah, I heard.
And I do you one better. The energy you saw in that stadium is further proof that the ownership groups that have owned the Miami Marlins are sabotaging it.
Yes.
Man,
it's no way in hell you can't put a fire atmosphere in motherfucking South Miami, bro. Like you're bullshit. Like it's a joke.
Now I will say this: outside of the U, they don't really get up for sports like that. Like even when they had LeBron, nobody else had that joke where fans don't show up till halftime.
Yes, you're right.
We just want to tap into the culture. Like,
but you tap into the culture?
That's very true.
Oh, basketball, all right, man, we'll get there at halftime. We got to wear white, I bet.
Yeah.
Football, we wasn't doing that. Yeah, unless the football players doing cocaine, we don't really care. Like, we don't really care. But for baseball, in that atmosphere, that's, like I said, if baseball was 1/4 of what I saw with the WBC, then baseball would be in a much better space. But when Derek Jeter said what he said with the look that he said, that was Yankee arrogance. I don't care about
he was disgusted.
He was disgusted. I don't care about none of this. Hey, I only care about winning rings. I don't care about doing that happy, joy, get lit, celebrate with the homies, all that stuff. We'll do it after the win. No, Jack. If you're trying to get fan support, if you're trying to bring people like me back, what the White Sox are doing with the 78 is attractive. Now, when they start playing, if I get up in there and it's just, welcome to whatever this name of this field is going to be, where the Chicago White Sox up against the Florida Marlins. Next up to bat, Ronald Acuña's little brother. And you just sitting there like,
have good game atmosphere.
Like, you need atmosphere. And to your point, Scott, earlier, what I said about the White Sox and the Cubs, That's why the Cubs are popular.
Yeah.
It ain't because of the team. It's
No.
because of the
It's because of
atmosphere.
Wrigleyville.
It's because of Wrigleyville. It's because of the Wrigley Field. It's because of the atmosphere. It's because when you go outside, it's lit.
Yep. Win or
Baseball.
lose, there's 80
Win or
bars
lose.
outside.
Baseball, please take the playbook from the WBC and let your players be players. Because I also think that's another reason why them cats was excited. You mean I could flip a bat and I ain't got to worry about nobody trying to bean me? That's why Bryce Harper threw that, man, he know he can't do that when he get back to Philly. Because as soon as he do that against, the Toronto Blue Jays, there's a picture that's like, oh, this ain't the WBC. Now I gotta bean you. Like, nah, man, it's like letting loose.
Yeah, I agree. And I think atmosphere is actually an underrated part of sports. Because that's what got me into soccer. You go to a random match or you watch a random match, bro, you think it's the playoffs or the World Cup. And the smaller the club, the bigger the atmosphere. Like, that's why I think what made the WBC so entertaining. But Derek Jeter, he's on some old head stuff, but Jeter just never got excited by anything. Like, even when they won the World Series, did you really see Jeter getting that hype?
No.
Not that much. So, but that's what I'm about. Last thing, super quick. Cade Cunningham, collapsed lung. That sounds extremely painful. Says he will be out indefinitely. I'm no doctor. I just Googled recovery time. Could be wrong. It said 2 to 3 weeks. Now, the playoffs are about, in fact, this time in a month from now, we'll be on day 2 of the playoffs. First day of the playoffs is April 19th, 2026. Do y'all think he will be back? And is this a massive blow for the Pistons' chances this year?
Yeah, that's terrible. He's the heart and soul. I hate to see that. I hope he's back, but I don't know, man. Collapse lung, you don't play around.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's something that you can't rush, obviously. Collapse lung, that just sounds painful. So I do think it's going to be a while. So I think it's just unfortunate for the Pistons. And obviously it's not the same, but nothing's worse when the playoffs are coming up. Your team is having a real good season for the first time in a long time, and your star player gets hurt. Yeah, we all know how that feels as Bulls fans.
It's sad they didn't go out and get like a second score or whatever
to
pair with Cade and Jalen Duran. So it's definitely going to be tough. I do still believe that, well, before we got this word, I know a lot of people had moved off of him, but I still believed that this team was a championship contender, or at least a Eastern Conference title contender. But not no more. Not no more, because even it's going to take some time for him to come back too. And when he comes back, it is going, it's going to be basically he got to gear up for going against whoever's going to go against. So it's rather unfortunate for a young star in the NBA to have to go through this at the worst possible time. But more worried about the health and safety of the player. So prayers up.
Now y'all know I'm a casual NBA watcher now, but I will say this: divorce Luka is the best Luka.
Oh yeah,
he's been going crazy. See, this is why when you have marital issues, it should take you to another level, unlike Tim Anderson. And I'm going to close this podcast by saying that. That's all we got for y'all today. I will be back on Monday or Tuesday. Which day is Patreon pod drop? Tuesday. Me and the homie Big Waz, of course y'all know Waz, friend of the program. We did a pod that I recorded about a week and a half ago. We talked about the current state of the NBA, everything he's working on. So tune in for that. If you want to check that out, subscribe to the Patreon. Link is in the description box. Dante, we got any high and outside coming up? I know the opening day is next week. I forgot opening day was on Netflix this year.
Yeah, it is. Opening day on Netflix. We're going to have an episode next week. Getting everybody's schedule like we were saying. We'll definitely be recording at the beginning of the week. I know on Thursday, I will be at Wrigley for the Cubs home opener. So if you see me inebriated, just come say hello. We're going to be there enjoying the game.
Are you going to have like a MLB hat? Like how Rob Lowe be having.
Oh no, yeah, no, I'm definitely not gonna be in Cubs gear. We know that, but y'all, you'll definitely see me out there.
I definitely said I texted somebody yesterday. I was like, man, I want to go to a baseball game this year, but I don't want to break my White Sox Bulls. Actually, now it's not a White Sox Bulls boycott. It's a Reinsdorf boycott. I don't want to break my Reinsdorf boycott. So you might check me at Wrigley this year with the Dodger hat on.
Jerry, you're a good man. It's okay.
I'm going to leave no comment on that. We're going to end it on that. Bang, is some dude back this week?
Yes. I talked to Mike. Some dude is back on Wednesday. First Black Champ will be back. Got to make sure we're doing this tomorrow. But First Black Champ will be back tomorrow. Some dude will be back on Wednesday. So y'all make sure y'all come check us out.
Check that out. See if we can do a Summer Sessions episode next week. You got to see if Pav is in the country first. That's number one.
Yeah.
Never know where this dude is at. Might pop up. He in Milan or something like that. So I will find out where he's at, and we're going to see if we can get y'all one next week. But me and my brother will be doing another episode, 79th and Hallis. We have not done one since the free agency period start. So you can hear me complain for another hour on that. So check that out. Anyway, at Barbchair Scott, at JR Bang, at October Zonte, all three of those handles are in the description box. Please follow us. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Starting on Monday, I will be dropping videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I will be dropping a short reel/Instagram, whatever you want to call it, every day. So it'll be a lot of content for your boy. So check all that out. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. And I'm going to holler at y'all next week. We out of here.